Welcome to current affairs session for the July 30. So topics that we are going to discuss today. So we'll discuss about the Operation Mahadev. So killing the 3 Pahalgam terrorist attack, killing of those terrorists. This is a very important thing, a very good achievement also. But we will also try to discuss few things related to this aspect, how this thing has happened. And then very important thing, bird census has been conducted in the Kaziranga National Park. So we'll try to understand, because this thing was discussed by our Prime Minister in Man Ki Baat. So this becomes important topic for us as well. And Kaziranga is also very important area, because of which famous line, which famous animal which we discussed there in the Kaziranga National Park. Okay, very nice. One-horn rhino. Okay, so we have discussed a lot about the one-horn rhino, and this area is also very significant. There is also in the news because of tiger growth as well. So Kaziranga has the 3rd highest tiger density. So there was also news related to this thing. So we'll try to revise something about the National Tiger Conservation Authority, Wildlife Institute of India and all. Okay, so Operation Mahadev, it was been given again. Okay, then there was an editorial that is talking about the slowdown in the index of the industrial production. Then there was also editorial that is talking about the poor infrastructure in the government schools, where the roof collapse has led to the death of the few children in the schools. So we'll try to discuss about it. And there was also discussion about the formalization of the economic activity. I always say there is an informal economy that is going on, and which is not a productive thing from the both ends. So there was a discussion on this in the in our Hindu. Okay, so we'll try to discuss about it. And there is also very important article regarding our social issues on the human trafficking. It has been given. Okay, they are talking about the Bihar. Unfortunate thing, but from us, from our exam point of view, we will try to pick up some important things, why this trafficking happens and all. So you need to know the ground realities, you need to understand the scenarios, why these kind of scenarios happens. And then India's poverty reduction and the changing consumption patterns. Again, there was an article discussed. So we'll come and discuss one by one. So first thing. So first thing that we have to highlight here is Kaziranga is a grassland area. Majority 70% of the area is a Kaziranga is a grassland. In which state you will find this Kaziranga in the Manas National Parks? Gujarat. Where is Assam and where is Gujarat? So Assam area. Okay, you will see this thing in the news, especially because of the Brahmaputra river floods also. So most of the times many rhinos also will suffer in this area. So remember these two areas, Kaziranga and the Manas, these are the very crucial national parks we have in that area. Okay. So here in this grasslands, they are conducting the bird census. See, now not every bird census, okay, not every bird species. So specifically, they are focusing on the 43 species and also some of the species which are indigenous to that area. Okay, so we are not focusing on all the aspects. See, so we are focusing on the conservation to count the 43 bird species grasslands in the Kaziranga National Park. 70% of the area is a grassland. So now what is the unique thing about it? So unique thing is they have used the innovative passive acoustic monitoring. Hard to spot the birds. Previously, generally when you try for the birds, it is very difficult for you to identify through the images. So here we are using the sound system. So through their sounding, that is called the acoustics. So we are using also the technology, machine learning and also spectrography. So in order to understand how many birds are there. So basically this is showing us the advancement of the technology that we are using. This is the first time that we are going to do. Okay, this is not the visual spotting. It is a acoustic monitoring. That means through the bird sounds. Okay, that is then Vijay Devarkonda in that movie. Okay, this is Comrade movie. He is trying to listen to the sounds. Okay, based on their sounds, they are trying to identify those things. Okay, and the endangered, not the endangered. Okay, so from this thing, see here, they have analyzed the audio using the spectrograms, sound graphs for identification, and the BoardNet software to detect the species by the sound. So these two things are important for me. So first, so when we talk about the technology, so this thing we can utilize it some other place. So when I talk about the AI and machine learning, see here how the AI and machine learning is playing the role in the biodiversity conservation. So remember this point, I have really liked it, and even PM has mentioned it. You can imagine when you write this thing in the mains. Anyway, you are not going to write this year mains. So the persons who is writing mains next year, when they show this thing, even the person who is writing mains this year, if they can write this thing, definitely there would be some question on the AI, there would be some question on the environment. When this technology aspect is used, definitely it will enhance your quality of the answer. Okay. So it avoids the challenge of the traditional visual counts, or now it is everything is managed by the technology. So using the spectrograms and also the BORDNet software. Try to remember that thing. So basically they have selected the season. Currently these boards are in the mating phase, and we are going and capturing the okay. So we are going to capture the acoustic sound systems and all, and then we are going to use them in the bird census. Okay. So not disturbing their privacy, we are trying to capture things. Okay, because it is there for their own well-being. So again the same thing. See here. Assam lost 70% of the grassland due to the, see these are the things if I mention here, overgrazing, farming, come back, overgrazing, farming. So basically because of the human involvement, these grasslands really struggle a lot. This area is a plain area known for the agriculture activity. So see if you are living there, so you will say what is the use of these grasslands? Let's clear this and go for the agriculture activity. So whoever the local people, tribal people, they are involved, they are clearing the forest lands for the agriculture activity. So these are the threats to the areas. So when you clear the agriculture land, the grasslands, so definitely shifting cultivation is very predominant in the northeast area. So we have discussed hippo, habitat destruction. So see, habitat destruction is also happening because of agriculture purposes, again urbanization and also the infrastructure development. So here we are doing the habitat destruction. So that's why the bird species are disappearing there when the grasslands are getting destroyed. Okay, another thing is overgrazing. You should not be supposed to send your animals for the grazing purposes in an unscientific manner. So if the grass gets destroyed in a beyond repairable manner, if the grass is not growing, so this can lead to the soil erosion and the destruction of the local site and all there. Okay, this is one thing. In another areas, these grasslands can be, if you leave these things unchecked, you will study in the environment, there is always a process of transformation happening in the ecosystems. That is called the natural succession. Generally, from the grasslands, the area will be getting converted into the forest lands. This is a natural process. So again, but this is a natural process, but eventually this can disturb the local systems. So these are the general threats. Now see, whatever the things that we are using here, we are studying here, according to the requirement, we will use these things in some other places. So now we are understanding the different types of the content, how ecology or ecosystem can be threatened by the local factors. This is what we are focusing on the Kaziranga National Park, and we are trying to understand the local factors. This thing can be used as individually as a kind of case study. On another side, we can also use this as a kind of broadly reasons. When the reasons where we are talking about the habitat destruction, there we will say these are the various reasons for the habitat destruction. Even the natural succession is one of the reasons, as it is happening in the Kaziranga grassland, where the grasslands are getting converted to the forest areas, which is not the suitable area for the present animals living there. So are we clear? So here, see, these are the 10 indigenous endemic grasslands, bird species from the Kaziranga census and their IUCN status. See here, you have the Bengal floricon. Remember these things. At least Bengal floricon is a critically endangered bird there, and you have this fin's fever, endangered, swamp francolin, vulnerable. So try to have about some idea. If you are not able to do about every animal, at least to see the critically endangered and endangered animals. Endemic means they are found only in that area. Endemic. So you need to understand two things: invasive and endemic. Endemic means that is you are local there, Chantigadu kind. Okay, so endemic, local. Okay, invasive means you are somehow from some other place, it has came to that place. Okay, so this is an endemic species known for that area. Okay, so this is what PM Narendra Modi highlighted the Kaziranga's first ever grassland bird census in his Mann Ki Baat on July 27th, praising its technological use for monitoring threatened species. This is the context. So what way? Acoustics and that machine learning they have used to identify their species. Using their sound, they have identified the species. These are the two crucial things. So why are we doing this thing? Because that area is facing the habitat destruction because of the various reasons. So we are identifying the bird species. Are we doing for the every bird? No. Only selected bird species, 43 bird species. Within that, some what is it? Endangered. Not endangered. Endemic bird species. Yeah, again I forgot the word. Endemic bird species. Just have an idea. Place 6 acoustic recorders on the tall trees near the grasslands during the breeding season. when the bots are vocal, recorded for 3 days per site, covering 29 like locations, analyze the audios, and then avoid the challenges of the traditional visual counts. That's all. That's what it is mentioned here. Where is it? The sounds. You are using their, in order to attract the female counterpart, they will make some kind of sounds. Okay, so you are using those, tracking those sound systems to identify the species. No, Operation Mahadev. See, so very, one thing is people were criticizing. Okay, so far you have not killed the terrorists who were responsible for the Pahalgam attack. Finally, we have done this thing. But people, their concern is why have you delayed things so much? See, the reason, the thing is, one thing is they are hiding at different places and they were using a proper kind of technology, especially see, they have used a kind of radio interception. Okay, see, means a encrypted channels which cannot be decoded. So they have used some kind of technology, radio waves technology, especially using the Chinese technology. They were hiding in some places, and there were also some people who have supported them. So to provide them the hideouts. Here two things. One thing, they have crossed the border. For crossing the border, somewhere people from the Pakistan might have supported. After entering into the India, locals, not exactly locals, we can say on-ground workers. There would be some kind of on-ground workers. They got the support from these on-ground workers. That means for what? Okay, maybe for the shelter purposes, food and all. So these things. Okay, so when we say on-ground workers, there are on-ground workers who might have been forced, who might have been allured, means they might have been given some kind of financial kind of or anything. Maybe they might have got forced. Okay, so these were the possible scenarios, and it has become very difficult for us to identify. And these people were carrying even AK-47 arms. So when we neutralized these people, so we have recovered those arms. But this says, so if we had not done this thing, then we would have again faced some kind of severe problem. So this is called as Operation Mahadev. So where are we doing this? Who are all involved in this? See, if you can see here in this thing, army, police are involved in this, local police. So see, anything for you, I think even the CRPF is also involved here. Okay, so we have involved the multiple people. Okay, let me, I think there is one more. Okay, so this operation shows there is a proper coordination between the multiple organizations, not just about the army, even the local people, and the CRPF is also included. And if you can see here, we have used the technology. Again, the importance of the technology, what we have used. See, where is this? Did I mention two things or what? Yeah, use the heat signature drones to pinpoint the terrorists who were resting at their thing. There must be some other article where I have mentioned the technological details and all. Yeah. Yes, here 14 days prior, intercepted suspicious Chinese ultra radio communication used by the LET for the encrypted messages. See, this is the again another problem. So when we use the encryption technology, especially that is there in the Telegram, even the WhatsApp is also encrypted thing. Decoding becomes very difficult. So somehow we are able to intercept it. They used to switch off the mobile phones, and they made sure that they are not getting intercepted. It took us time for us to properly intercept those things and also identify their location, and there is no collateral damage. So that, see, these terrorists got neutralized when they were sleeping. No single collateral damage, not from our side or even the local population. Because generally what happens, when you identify the terrorists, they will use the local people as a shield. They will try to kill them, or they will use them as a shield, and it will cause loss to the life of the people. So somehow we have avoided those situations, and we have not faced all those things. So we have used all the technology here. We have used the drone system here. So this is a good thing in this. Why this thing have been named as a Mahadev? Because this operation has been conducted in the area where you have this Mahadev famous temple, Shiva temple is there in the nearby area. So that's the reason we have given this name. Okay, so for us, what are the things that we need to understand here is, though there is a delay, but they have planned in such a way where there have been no collateral damage. But still, the concern is they were staying in India for more than 3 months. So why it has been still 3 months time period for them? Why it has taken such a time period, 3 months of time period for them to conduct this operation? Still there is a kind of point of concern for all of us. But still, fine. Okay. Still it has been done with a proper planning and all. See here, drones confirmed visuals, Rashtriya Rifles and the Para Special Forces ascended. So can you see here? So we have the Rashtriya Rifles as well as the Para Special Forces. That's how we have used multiple forces to so that's why this is a kind of a successful operation which is highlighting the cooperation between the multiple forces, army, local police, special forces, to neutralize them. So that's all. So again, use of the technology is very important. So this has happened in the nearby area of the Dachigam National Park, which is one of the famous national park of the Kashmir area. See, on these national parks, questions can be asked in this way. So can you see there? So national park, they are asking to match it with the river. Kaziranga National Park, Manas River, Silent Valley National Park, Kaveri River, Jim Corbett National Park, Ganga River. So they are asking whether the national park has nearby the same river. So they are asking the match the following. So you need to have the clarity not just on the rivers and also the famous national parks. So you need to study it in that way. Okay, answer is none here. So I have given you Jim Corbett National Park, that area has a Ramganga River, Kaziranga, Brahmaputra. Now itself we have discussed, at least you would have been able to eliminate that thing. Kaveri, somewhere in the Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, in those areas, right? So you when you know the Silent Valley, which is it comes little bit down in the areas, nearby areas of the Kerala and the Tamil Nadu areas, you will find this Silent Valley National Park. Okay, so you will be able to take a guess. At least according to me, you will be able to take some guess, and there is possibility for you to arrive at an answer. So you will not be knowing sure shot. So you will think in that way. Kaveri River, okay, we have studied it multiple times. Okay, somewhere from it is flowing in the primarily in the Tamil Nadu region, from the Karnataka and all, it is going it this way. So Kerala, when we think about the Silent Valley, some picture may come in our mind. Okay, somewhere it is little southward than the Kaveri. So this is how we will try to address these kind of statements. Okay, now next article is about the interrupted growth. There is a slowdown on the index of industrial production. So what this article says, the slowdown is primarily happening because of the events of the climate change and the global warming, especially due to the poor monsoons, or especially due to some scenarios like where you have the floods. Erratic monsoon, we'll say, not the poor monsoon, erratic monsoons. That means you are not able to identify the trends and the patterns of the monsoons. So when you are not sure when it is going to happen, when it is going to rain in that area, how much rain you are going to get. So this is going to cause some kind of concern for you. Previously, we used to have the clarity. Indian Meteorological Department used to have the clarity how much amount of rainfall will happen in that area, how much rainfall will happen in the entire season and all. Now, because of the global warming and the climate change that is happening, there is a unpredictability, which we call it as a erratic monsoon. Remember this keyword, erratic monsoon. We will use this keyword at different places. So you can use this thing in the disasters, you will use this thing in the urban floods and all. So because of this erratic monsoon, you can see mining got dropped due to the waterlogging conditions and also uneven monsoons in the Odisha, Jharkhand and the West Bengal. So because of this thing, so you are not getting the coal. See, always coal supply will struggle in India. Whenever you have the heavy rainfalls because of the flooding and all, so we will also face the coal disruptions. In those cases, we will import the coal. Again, our coal bill will increase. This was in the news a year ago. There was also mains question, because that year we have imported a lot of coal from the Australia. So there was a question, despite having a lot of coal within India, where are we importing? This is one of the prime reason. So whenever rainfalls happen, those mining areas and all, they get flooded. So it becomes very challenging for us to extract the coal. So this will also disrupt our power supply. Our power production also falls. Overall, our index of industrial production is slowing down, especially because of the mining and the production issues. Okay, and then so private sector contribution for the capital goods is not happening. So these were the things. Now what this article says is, usually in our reports, we don't consider the role of the climate change in the global warming. So whenever the RBI releases report or whenever the release of report happens for the index of industrial production, they mention only about the supply chain. So maybe whatever the global concerns are there, the inflation rise, okay, or else oil price rise, they will mention all these factors, but they will not indicate the problem of the climate change that we have to consider. Okay, this is the part that you have to remember here. This is what as suggested by the author. Now here, so what is the IIP? This is very important for our prelims. So like I have told you, who is going to release the IIP index? We have discussed it previously. Very important. Prelims, they have asked multiple times in the prelims. Index of industrial production or even GDP is released by which institute? Ministry of? Very good. Okay, Ministry of Statistics releases the index of industrial production. So this is a monthly index. Remember again, very, very important. Monthly index. Okay. So these are the three components and the weightage. By heart it. So mining, manufacturing and the electricity. So see here, now we have seen there is a downfall in the mining and there is a downfall in the electricity production. So of course, overall the index of industrial production, can you see here, almost 20% they are struggling. And rest, food, textile, machinery and the other subgroups. Okay, so who releases it? Ministry of the Statistics releases the monthly and they classify different thing. Okay, this is the major important thing. Base year is a 2012. And then we also have the core index. Who releases it? I have just given it here. Okay, who releases it? Ministry of Commerce, Department of Department of the Promotion for Industry and the Internal Trade, DPIIT, under the Ministry of the Commerce. Again, this is a monthly one report. So here, which one is having majority of the shareholding? Okay, in these components. So primarily, it is having a refinery products is having a majority of the weightage. Again, you need to remember that fact. Then comes your electricity. You need to by heart this thing. I'll again ask. Okay. So index. What are the two things I have asked to by heart? IIP and the core industries index. Who releases this? Who releases it? And what is the monthly duration? Who releases the GDP data? Ministry of Statistics. Same thing for the IIP. So they will collect the information of the agriculture, industries and the service sector. Then will finally club and release the GDP data. Simple thing. Within this IIP, some industries are core. So their index is again released separately by the Ministry of the Commerce. They are also very important for us to track it. The weightage of the core industry overall together is 37%, nearly 40% of the total industrial activity. Okay. So this I have just added for your revision purposes. Now another important thing. So in the Rajasthan area, see on July 25, a government school building in the Rajasthan collapsed during a prayer assembly, killing 7 students. The next day, similar incidents has also happened in the Nagaur district. So the problem here is you are not focusing on the infrastructure. This is what they say. Okay, even the new education policy, they say the budget allocation for the education has to be raised. But currently, what is the focus? Their focus is on more privatization of the schools. They are talking about the outsourcing. Okay, they are focusing on they are thinking about the quality, all these aspects. But focus on the infrastructure. Again, that is also very, very important aspect which has not been focused. If this is happening, people will be afraid to send their students to the government schools, right? So this shows a very poor quality infrastructure, right? So far, we were only concerned about the quality that is being delivered here. Now, you are also concerned because of the infrastructure, sudden building collapses and all. So that means there is poor management. So we need to be careful about this. So this thing can be one of the problem. So we will discuss about the issues in the education sector. Within the issues of the education sector, we will talk about the physical infrastructure. Within the physical infrastructure, we will mention about this thing. So recent issues of the Rajasthan, we will highlight it as a kind of problem, highlighting that thing. See here, 650 crore allotted for the infrastructure in the recent budgets, but the government in the inefficiencies limited the impact. So we have been allotting funds also, but I don't understand how these funds are being utilized. Currently 4.6% of the GDP, far below than the new education policy 6% target. I want you to remember this important point. Very important fact. Only 4% is being currently spent on the education, which is required to increase to the 6% at least. So I have given you the same thing. The editor talks about the focus on the mass education, immediate infrastructure audit and the repairing. So this is how you will suggest. You will also get the case studies. They will ask you to suggest the solutions. Whenever you have to write the case study, they will give you this kind of problem. So they will say, what kind of solution will you suggest? So when you suggest a solution, so you need to have some kind of content. From where will you get the content and the ideas? So through these editorials, you will understand. So do not neglect these words, because you are new to this field. To write the content, you may struggle. You may not be having the content with you. So when you study these editorials, when you study this content, you will get used to those content and you will be able to apply in the exam hall. Immediate infrastructure audit and the repairs. Identify or upgrade all the dilapidated schools. That means broken schools and all. So understand those keywords and you can use it accordingly. Prioritize the government schools, teacher recruitment and the training, and holistic reforms. Now next thing. Okay. See here. Previously, I have discussed about the concept of the contract labors. Okay. So there is a formal economy and there is an informal economy. Formal economy means which comes under certain types of the acts. Some companies act. So whenever any economy, any kind of activity is formal, means it is falling under some kind of statutory act. When a company or any activity is not registered, then it is considered as a kind of informal activity. If you are registering, that means you will be under some act. It can be any act. So when you are registering it, you will become the formal economy. So whoever the employees now working on it, for suppose, let's assume that I have taken two companies. One thing I have registered and I have not registered. So once I registered it, maybe it might get governed through the various acts. For suppose I have registered it through the Companies Act. Now I have hired the people. Here also I have hired the people. Here I have not done any kind of registration. Okay. But I am hiring here people, but I am not keeping them on the payroll. I have taken them from the contract. So even if it is a formalized, the employees are not yet formalized. Because generally what happens is, as per the laws, especially through the Industrial Disputes Act and all, so you cannot easily hire or fire the employees. If you have more than 100 employees, now this has increased to the 300 as per the new labor laws. So that's why again the laborers are protesting. So previously before 2020, it was 100. So if I have a company and there are 100 employees, I cannot easily shut down my company. I cannot easily fire the employees. That's why what these people are doing, and also I need to provide the social security. We have seen that day. Okay, so both the employer and employee will contribute. We have seen the social security, provident funds and all. Both of them will contribute. So as a person who is the employer, so I might feel, okay, this might be the additional expense. So I will take the person as a contract. Why am I taking as a contract? I can easily fire whenever I require, whenever I need. Okay, or I don't have to spend extra on the social security. Because of this nature, contract form of labor is increasing. Contract labor in the formal manufacturing doubled from 20% to 40% as per the annual survey of industry. Now this is whenever government itself says, so we have to save the data. That has to be utilized. So because you are saying informal economy, contract labor and all, on what basis, what is the data? So when you say this thing, it is happening. So why? Cost avoidance, legal loopholes, contract workers are excluded from the Industrial Dispute Act's protections. Example, layoff safeguards, and also they will have the weak bargaining power. This is the prime reason. And the flexibility. Firms can claim need for operational flexibility, but cost cutting dominates over the skill needs. At the same time, this is also a loss to the economy, not just the employee. Here, the employee is struggling because of the lack of social security, work conditions and all. At the same time, the person will not give his 100%. Studies are saying that they might be checking for the cost and they are reducing the expenditure and they are hiring the contract laborers. But studies are saying that if you hire the employee for the regular work without any kind of contract, so they will give them more productivity. The productivity will be high. So they have found unanimously more than 5 to 10% productivity. See, generally it happens. For suppose if you are setting up a any kind of business activity, any kind of company, your organization will be successful only when whoever is working in your team, whenever they are giving only the best. One man shows will not work anywhere, even here also. Okay? So everyone should participate in the success. Only when there is this level of safety and security, only then the worker will participate. So contract labor, the study says contract labor is not going to help either for the employer or for the employee, because they are not getting the social security, they are constantly under fear, they might be fired and all. And here also employers are also not getting the returns also properly. In the same time, I have told you when I discussed about the labor codes, I have not went into the details of the labor codes, but there I have told you they have somehow introduced the concept of the fixed term employment, where through this process contract labor implementation process has been further simplified. So that's why laborers are also protesting. So this article says try to bring more formalization, because informal economy is not going to help either to the employer or to the employee. This is the essence. So for us, what do we need to understand? What is the formal economy? Formal economy. So any company is registered under any act, then it is a kind of formal economy. If the employees are under the payroll, then they are on the formal sector. If they are not out of the payrolls, then they are the informal sectors. So informal sector, what are the issues you need to understand? So what are the issues? Productivity will be less, social safety will be less, more poor work conditions. Those things are the issues. Overall, the economy will suffer. So that's why, if you remember, government has given various incentives. So if you pay something, government has said for 3 years. What is the scheme for formalization of economy? We have seen that scheme where they were talking about recently, 1 month back we have seen, where the government will contribute for the funding for 3 years. The same thing. Okay, in the provident fund, government said, so they want to formalize the economy. So from the employer's side, they will spend, and they have also given the additional incentives. Once revise this thing. I forgot that thing. Not internship scheme. Internship scheme is for the people who are seeking the jobs. Here, in order to formalize the economy, they are providing incentive to the employer. Those who join yeah. See, if I am the one who is hiring some other person, okay, I am not keeping them on the payroll. Government is saying you keep them on the payroll. So whatever the social security spending is there, I will contribute for the initial 3 years, and I will also give you the additional benefits for the next few years. This is what they have said. The scheme name I forgot. Okay. So impact on the productivity. So they have mentioned this thing. Less training. Okay. They will not have those associations and all. Okay. So you can just go through that process which I have discussed here. And then Gini index. So Gini index talks about what? We have discussed this thing. Gini. That talks about? Huh? Inequality. Okay. So they will come up with a value which is helpful for us to understand the level of the inequality that is present. That day we have discussed various causes of the inequality. Okay. So now, as per the value they have provided, this Gini coefficient index, they say they have placed India under moderately unequal country. But this article says they have not taken the right data. In India, there are different levels of the inequality. There is that day we have discussed wealth inequality, digital inequality, education inequality, access to digital devices inequality, gender inequality, which are very difficult to capture. So some of the data has been provided here. See, this contrasts with the India's reality. India ranks, this Gini index ranks India as the world's 4th most equal society in the moderately low category. So there is a problem with this. See here, top 1% hold 22% of the national income. And you have the 90% of economy as the informal economy. How are you comparing the wealths? It is very difficult to know the wealth, because you have the informal economy. For the formal economies, they will be filing the ITR returns and all. So you will understand the income. But here in this case, it is not possible. Okay. So there are so much of the data One thing is very difficult to capture the data and because of the informal sector. And hidden things are there. So for suppose like this, only 52% of schools have the functional computers, 53% have the internet, limiting the technology skills for the poorer students. Even the data connectivity, this is called the digital divide. Gender divide is also there. Women are only 35% of the workforce. Overall total workforce is somewhere around 66, 67. 58. The male workforce participation rate is in the 70%. So on an average, it comes around 57, 58. You need to have the idea. That day we have also seen the definition. Total labor force participation rate, workforce participation rate, unemployment. Right? We have seen. So labor force participation rate means what are the two things? Either you are searching for the job or working. Then you comes under the labor force. Those people who are working is called as a working force participation rate. And those people who do not have the job, out of this is called the unemployed. Okay, revise those things. It should be on the tips. So when you spend current affairs, do not think you are wasting your time, because when you study economy, there your time to revise will come down because you already know these concepts. That day we have discussed inequality, Lorentz curve, you remember, we have drawn the curve. If it is a straight line, then it is unequal, means totally equal country. That day we have discussed. So that Lorentz curve is derived using this Gini coefficient, that value, that number. So we will draw the curve for the different countries using that value. Okay. So if it is perfect one value, that means totally equal. Everyone have the equal amount of the money. It will be never that scenario. There is a curvature. So using that curvature, India is a moderately unequal country. But this author says that is wrong. So these levels of issues we have. This is what they say. Now see here, NCRB data says, again this becomes very important. In 2022, almost nearly 3,000 children trafficked in India as per the NCRB, National Crime Records Bureau. Especially exploitation is happening. This article is primarily focusing on the Bihar orchestra belt. So this is some kind of music, or maybe you can link it to those things. Okay, where clubs are there, where the women are dancing. So in the West Bengal and the Bihar, these activities are more. So parents themselves are selling their girls for the money. So initially they will say just dance and all. Later on, by showing them money, they are trafficking the women. So this is what happening. Some NGO has filed a case to ban this activity in the Bihar. So immediately Patna High Court has given the direction to the government to take the immediate action. So this is context to ban those orchestras where women are performing the dances with a revealing dress. Rave parties is different thing. This is like clubs and all where the women are dancing and all. You might have seen in the movies. The same thing. Okay, that is a normal thing. Consent based thing. If the woman is performing activities, that is different thing. Here we are talking about the scenario where women are getting trafficked. Trafficked means forceful activity. Not every woman is willing to do this thing. They are just like a goods. Parents are selling their children, or whoever is the exploiter. Like I've said, children, they are not much aware to take the decisions. It is very easy to mold them, to cause harm to them, manipulate them, anything. Especially this is happening to the children. Always remember. So that's why we are also very careful with our younger brothers, children, any niece and nephews who are in that age group, 10 to 20. In India, 25 also. That's why. Okay. So we need to be careful. So we have multiple acts: Juvenile Justice Act, POXCO Act, Immoral Trafficking Act. Yet these things are happening. Why these things are happening? The prime thing is the poverty and the desperation. This is the prime reason why the trafficking happens in India, unfortunately. Okay, for the money purposes and all, they'll do. Second thing is commodification of the woman. Keyboard from the word of the society. Commodification of the woman means still woman is seen as a kind of property, object. Okay, this is called commodification of the woman. You see the advertisements are also, okay, those things, what deodorant you spray, okay, axe spray. So women are coming like this. Okay, so this is what how they are using the commodification of the woman. Okay, looking at this, they'll think there's some kind of treasure, some kind of thing. Okay, so this is what it has to change. That should change, and now it is changing gradually, where women are also working hard, and now those things are changing. Previously, it's like, do this, shut your mouth and do this. Okay, this used to be a scenario some 20 years back. Now things are changing. Women are also earning, and now those things are not happening. But this kind of mass penetration is not happening at the ground level. This should happen. It will take time. Okay, but for that to happen, this exploitation should stop. So they are talking about various things. Good thing I have liked here is they have talked about a very important strategy called the picket strategy. This thing we must use at the different places. I'll come to that. Before that, cultural exploitation. See, absence of the regulatory oversight. Understand these keywords: geography and the connectivity. Bihar's porous border with the Nepal. Movement of the people across the Nepal, even in the northeast area, even in this areas of the Punjab. When you have the porous borders, it is easily they are mobilizing the women from different areas, from the Nepal to India, or India to other countries, from Bangladesh to India, Southeast Asian countries to these countries and all. Okay, so these kind of scenarios are happening especially due to lack of proper strong border. Apart from this, whoever is the whatever the rehabilitation that should happen. For suppose I have rescued a girl from this activity and all, so she needs to be properly again supported. Now, how the society sees in India, who have been rescued from any kind of brothel activity and all, it is very difficult for her to continue her life. Even her parents will not accept her, or parents themselves might have sold. Now you are sending back to the parents. There is poor working. Somehow you have rescued. That is only 50% of the job. You have to make sure that you are not sending them back to the parents who have exploited her, or you are skilling them. So the infrastructure, again, we do not have the necessary rehabilitation. Whatever the anti-trafficking units that we have, even those things are also not sufficient. Cultural exploitation in states like West Bengal, music or dance integral to identity. Parents encourage the arts. Traffickers prey with the promises of the stardom, love, marriage or jobs. Even in my town, Nasropeta, okay, there these things, like say especially during the times of the Shivaratri and all. Okay, those things, dance and all. So when you take it with a proper regulation and all, it will be proper. So I'm linking to the culture. So when these things are happening, okay, there are some instances where we have seen, okay, where it is going beyond acceptable thing. Okay, well, so these are the examples. So you might have heard about this thing, record dances, during the Shivaratri times and all. So those things. So culture is there where those things are being used as a kind of to exploit women. So these are the practices that we have to highlight. Low cost and the profitability. See, girls as young as 12 are sold for the 10,000 to orchestras in the orchestra belt districts. Forced into inappropriate clothing, vulgar dance for the drunk man, punished for the refusal, raped for the resistance. Very, very painful thing. So all these things to study and all, but okay. So when you study these things, so when you are in a very good positions, you will be able to do something. Whatever is the position, in your level of possibility, you will do something for sure. So these anti-trafficking units that are there, they are very, very poor. So those things are there required. So we need to make sure, for suppose the article says very important thing. You have the government schools. In the government schools, if for suppose the attendance of the girl child is coming down, you need to track. This is not happening. So very important thing that I will use this thing. Expand a railway protection force model corridors. Okay, so that you are monitoring these things, these bus routes, okay, private carriers and all. So transport vigilance. Very, very beautiful recommendations. Full-time officers trained for the cross-border coordination, network tracking, case-to-case follow-up from the rescue to the prosecution and hold them accountable. So some of the activities should be immediately prohibited, and state supervised rehabilitation. Don't return them to the exploitative families. Enforce victim compensation rigorously. See this picket, remember this thing. Policy, institutions, convergence, knowledge, economy, technology. Technology, track traffickers, build database, generate heat maps, predict patterns. make trafficking unviable via prosecutions and asset seizures, knowledge, community awareness, intelligence gathering, convergence agencies, digital infrastructure, institutions required to monitor and prosecute, policy, strong, clear prohibitions on the child labor or any exploitation. Even the child labor is also India in the high. Same thing. When I say about the causes, we will discuss about the poverty, social causes, cultural causes, weak law enforcement. NGOs are working, but it is not sufficient. See, the Center for Legal Action and Behavioral Change recently released a report building the case for the zero, how prosecution acts as a tripping point. That means if you catch them, if you catch their assets, if you set them on trial, so then conviction rates increases, then automatically these activities will come down. So this is the most important. By heart or else understand the concept of the picket strategy. You can use it in all the trafficking concepts. Everywhere you can use it. Child labor, you can use this. Definitely your evaluator will be surprised. They will definitely feel wow. This is how we have to utilize the newspapers. Now another thing, transport, based on the transport. Where is it? I missed it before. See, there is an article that is talking about the transportation. We have announced the free buses. See, how do you understand, how do you calculate the poverty? Poverty is calculated based on the consumption. What you are consuming, how much money you are spending. Our consumption is based on only two things, on the food and the non-food. So consumption on the expenditure, on the food expenditure is coming down because of the government support through the Food Security Act and all. Within the non-food consumption expenditure, you will spend for the health, education and all these things. So here, transport is also major expenditure. Focus, important point I am talking about. So we will identify whether you are a poor or rich based on your expenditure. Primary expenditure happens in the food and the non-food. Food, they have taken care, government is providing something. So that's why poverty has come down according to the World Bank. What is the level? Remember this thing. Okay. So $2.15, we have discussed that day. This is the limit they have financially, monetary limit. If you are spending anything more than $2.15, then you are not considered to be poor. So using this as a criteria, they have declared India has reduced its poverty from 16 to 2.3%. This is a very good achievement. Now this is your total expenditure. Your total expenditure for the 2% of the people is less than $2. If you are spending more than $2, you are not considered to be poor. So we are talking about the absolute poverty. Very, very difficult poverty. Now so now here the concept is they are talking about the expenditure. So when I spend money, I am spending on the food which government is taking care. On the non-food, health and education. That's why generally government should be able to provide healthcare, education. Not everyone can afford. Next, the third important thing is where majorly people are putting the money is transport. So that's why government these days are coming with the free bus schemes. But this article says this is not helpful in the rural areas. Okay, this scheme is not benefiting the rural areas. And also they are saying that with these free schemes, they are taking up a lot of the money. So because of this thing, we are not able to spend on the infrastructure. So like here, see, India has only 1.5 lakh buses, 17 per lakh people. We need 60 per lakh according to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Remember this fact. We have only 17 per lakh. We need at least 60 per lakh. So you do not have the quality. You do not have the infrastructure. So when you are spending the money for the free schemes, where is the money for you to invest in the infrastructure? So infrastructure is the most crucial thing. Affordability, accessibility and economic benefit. Lower transportation costs free up the money for the health and education, improving the livelihoods. So when I talk about the urban poverty, I will definitely mention about the infrastructure. You need to also develop the infrastructure. See, you are providing the free buses, but bus itself is not there. Back those days when I used to travel to college, so simply take the bus pass, go. Okay, now buses are overcrowded. Safety issues also there. Okay, so they will pull you, kick you out. Okay, so much. So you need more number of buses. Again, if there is more number of buses, the air pollution will also come down. You can imagine there are some 150 people in the bus. Okay, if you can imagine same 150 people taking the cars, blocking the road, promote the public transport. And this will also be economical. People are taking the metros not because of its hi-fi and all, because the bus infrastructure is poor. So you need to promote the bus infrastructure. Provision of this subsidies is not working, especially in the rural areas. It is not benefiting. That's what the article says. For me, the important aspect is this thing. If you can do this thing, then you can further lower the poverty, and people will spend money on the health and education. This will bring the development.
Why do you not type in rural? I didn't understand that.
Two things they have mentioned. One thing is the bus facility itself is lower. Second thing is the primarily they are involved in the agriculture activity. The commutation that is required in the urban areas, it is not there in the rural areas. Generally nearby areas on the agriculture field you are working. So the necessity is also low. Okay.
Buses are not free in rural. Only in
No, it is there. It is in the answer. So they are not mentioning this point. So general they are saying that you are spending for the subsidies, free things. It is not going to help. The bus population itself is low, even in the urban areas and the low. So charge something. What is the use if the people are not using it? The quality is poor. Charge something. Spend on more infrastructure. Provide them more quality. People make it accessible. Because the metros are very costly. People will take the buses. This is the essence. If this thing happens, the third major consumption in the non-food expenditure is the transport. It will come down. So quality of the life will further improve. So we need health, education. So education also we have discussed. Government is spending 4.5. For the healthcare sector, how much they are spending? It is around 1.5, 1.6. We need to expand it to the 2.5. Okay, there is a recommendation. So these are the things that we have discussed for today. So please revise the content, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Thank you.